In the quiet moments between words, between glances that linger just a heartbeat too long, love finds its way. Maya and Elena have been best friends for 3 years, sharing everything from morning coffee to midnight conversations. But when familiar, friendship begins to transform into something deeper. They must navigate the delicate space between what they've always known and what they're beginning to feel. This is their story, a gentle exploration of connection, vulnerability, and the courage it takes to follow your heart, even when it leads you into uncharted territory. Maya had always been a creature of habit. Every morning at 7:15 a.m., she would walk the 3 blocks to Cafe Luna, order her usual oat milk latte, and settle into the corner booth by the window. For the past 8 months, Elena had joined this ritual, sliding into the seat across from her with a smile that could brighten even Seattle's gloomiest mornings. "You're late," Maya teased as Elena rushed in, her dark hair slightly disheveled from the October wind. "Traffic was insane," Elena replied, catching her breath. "But I brought peace offerings." She produced 2 blueberry scones from her bag. Maya's favorite dot as Elena settled in, Maya found herself studying her friend's face, really looking at her. The way Elena's eyes crinkled when she smiled. The small scar above her left eyebrow from a childhood accident she'd shared stories about. The gentle curve of her lips as she spoke about her latest photography project. Earth to Maya, Elena laughed, waving a hand in front of her face. "You're staring." Heat rushed to Maya's cheeks. "Sorry, I was just thinking." "About what?" Maya hesitated. How could she explain that lately their friendship felt different? That the comfortable silences had become charged with something unnamed? That when Elena laughed at her jokes, Maya felt something flutter in her chest that she'd never experienced with any of her previous boyfriends? "Work stuff," she lied, taking a sip of her latte to avoid Elena's knowing gaze. Elena nodded, but Maya caught the brief flicker of disappointment that crossed her features. They'd never kept secrets from each other before. "Speaking of work," Elena said, changing the subject with practice ease, "I have that gallery opening next Friday. Will you come? I know you hate art events, but it would mean a lot to have you." "There, of course," Maya replied without hesitation. "I wouldn't miss it." Elena's smile returned, genuine and warm. "Thank you. I'm nervous about showing my work to strangers, but knowing you'll be there makes it feel less terrifying." As they finished their coffee and parted ways for work, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that something fundamental had shifted between them. The question was whether Elena felt it too, and more importantly, what they would do about it. The rest of Maya's day passed in a blur of meetings and emails, but her thoughts kept returning to that moment in the cafe the way Elena had. Looked at her, the unspoken question hanging in the air between them. The gallery buzzed with a low hum of conversation and clinking wine glasses. Maya stood before Elena's latest photograph, a stunning black and white portrait of an elderly woman's hands. Weathered by time but still graceful, the composition was perfect, capturing both fragility and strength in a single frame. "You made it," Elena's voice came from behind her, soft with relief. Maya turned, and her breath caught. Elena wore a simple black dress that hugged her curves perfectly, her hair pulled back in a loose bun with a few strands framing her face. She looked radiant, confident, in a way Maya had rarely seen. "You look beautiful," Maya said, the words escaping before she could stop them. Elena's cheeks flushed pink. "Thank you. I clean up okay when I'm not covered in coffee stains and camera gear." They stood together, surveying the room full of people admiring Elena's work. Maya felt a surge of pride watching strangers connect with her friend's art, seeing Elena's vision through their eyes. "I'm so proud of you," Maya said, meaning it completely. "I couldn't have done this without you," Elena replied, her fingers briefly touching Maya's arm. "All those nights you listened to me doubt myself, all." The times you pushed me to submit my work when I was too scared. The touch lingered longer than necessary, and Maya felt electricity shoot through her entire body. When Elena didn't pull away, Maya covered her hand with her own. Elena, there you are. A tall man in an expensive suit approached them, breaking the moment. You must be the talented photographer everyone's talking about. Elena stepped away from Maya, her professional smile sliding into place. Thank you so much for coming. Maya watched as Elena was pulled into conversation after conversation, her friend handling compliments and questions with grace. But throughout the evening, Maya noticed Elena's eyes finding hers across the room, silent communications passing between them. Near the end of the night, as the crowd began to thin, Maya found Elena on the small balcony outside, looking up at the stars barely visible through the city's light pollution. Hiding from your admirers? Maya asked, joining her at the railing. Just needed some air and some quiet. Elena turned to face her. Thank you for staying the whole time. I know this isn't your scene. Your success is my scene, Maya replied. Besides, I like seeing you happy. They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, the cool night air carrying the distant sounds of the city. Maya could smell Elena's perfume, something light and floral that she'd been wearing for years, but that somehow seemed intoxicating tonight. Maya, Elena said quietly, can I ask you something? Always. Do you ever feel like ... double quotes? Elena paused, searching for words. Like we're standing at the edge of something? Like one step forward would change everything? Maya's heart hammered against her ribs. Every day, she whispered. Elena turned to face her fully, and in the dim light from the gallery, Maya could see vulnerability written across her features. I'm scared, Elena admitted. Of what? Of ruining what we have? Of losing you if I say what I'm thinking? Maya stepped closer, close enough to see the flecks of gold in Elena's brown eyes. What are you thinking? But before Elena could answer, someone called her name from inside, another congratulatory well-wisher demanding her attention. The moment shattered like glass. 2 weeks passed without either of them mentioning that night on the balcony. They fell back into their routine coffee, work, weekend movies, but there was a tension now, like a string pulled taut between them. Maya found herself analyzing every interaction. When Elena laughed at her jokes, did it mean something more? When their hands brushed reaching for the same book, was the lingering contact intentional? The uncertainty was driving her crazy dot. It was Elena who finally broke first. They were at Maya's apartment on a rainy Sunday, supposedly working on their respective laptops, but mostly stealing glances at each other. Elena had been unusually quiet all afternoon, and Maya could sense something building. I can't do this anymore, Elena said suddenly, closing her laptop with a snap. Maya's stomach dropped. Do what? Pretend? Elena stood up, pacing to the window. Pretend that I don't think about you constantly. Pretend that when you smile at me, my entire world doesn't light up. Pretend that I'm not completely, utterly in love with you. The words hung in the air like a confession and a question all at once. Maya felt her world tilt on its axis. Elena ... I know this complicates everything, Elena continued, her back still turned. I know we've never talked about being with women. I know you've only dated men, and maybe I'm completely misreading the signals. But Maya, I can't keep pretending that you're just my friend when you're so much more than that. Maya stood up, her legs unsteady. She dreamed of this moment and feared it in equal measure. Look at me, Maya said softly. Elena turned, tears glistening in her eyes. I'm sorry if I've made things weird. I just couldn't. Maya crossed the room in 3 quick steps and cupped Elena's face in her hands. You haven't made anything weird, she said. You've made everything clear. What do you mean? I mean, I've been falling for you for months and was too scared to admit it. even to myself. Maya's thumb traced Elena's cheekbone. I mean, every relationship I've had with men felt like I was playing a role, but with you, I feel like myself. Elena's eyes widened. Really? Really? Maya smiled through her own tears. I love you too, Elena. I love your passion for photography, your terrible morning hair, the way you cry at dog commercials. I love how safe I feel with you, and I love how you make me want to be braver. Can I kiss you? Elena whispered Dot instead. Of answering, Maya leaned forward and pressed her lips to Elena's. The kiss was soft, tentative at first, then deeper as they both realized this was real. This was happening. This was everything they'd been afraid to want. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. So, Elena said, her forehead resting against Maya's. What happens now? Now we figured it out together, Maya replied, like we always do. Elena smiled, the same smile that had been lighting up Maya's mornings for months, but now it meant something different. Now it was theirs. Outside, the rain continued to fall, but inside Maya's apartment, everything had changed. They had crossed the line they'd been dancing around for so long, and Maya had never felt more at home. 3 months later, Maya woke up to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar curtains and the sound of Elena humming in the kitchen. They had spent the night at Elena's apartment, officially calling it their first sleepover as a couple, though they'd slept over at each other's places countless times as friends. Everything was different now, and yet everything was exactly the same. Morning, beautiful, Elena said as Maya padded into the kitchen, still in Elena's oversized t-shirt from the night before. Morning, Maya replied, accepting the cup of coffee Elena offered. You're up early. Couldn't sleep. Too excited. Elena's eyes sparkled with mischief. About what? About today. About us. About the fact that I get to wake up next to you and it's not just a dream anymore. Maya felt her heart swell. Even after 3 months of officially being together, Elena's words still made her feel like she was floating. Their relationship had been a revelation. All the easy compatibility they'd shared as friends had translated seamlessly into romance. They still laughed at each other's terrible jokes, still debated the merits of different coffee shops, still spent hours talking about everything and nothing. But now there were also stolen kisses in the middle of conversations, hands held while walking down the street, and quiet moments of intimacy that felt both thrilling and perfectly natural. I have something for you, Elena said, disappearing into her bedroom and returning with a small wrapped package. It's not my birthday, Maya protested, but she was already unwrapping it eagerly. Inside was a photograph, one of Elena's, but not one Maya had seen before. It showed Maya from behind, standing at the window of Cafe Luna, morning light creating a halo around her silhouette. She was looking out at the street with a soft smile, caught in an unguarded moment of contentment. When did you take this? Maya asked, amazed by how beautiful Elena had made her look. About a month before we got together. I was watching you and thinking about how much I loved you, how much I wanted to capture that moment forever. I almost didn't develop it because I was afraid it would reveal too much about how I felt. Maya studied the photograph, seeing herself through Elena's eyes, loved, cherished, beautiful in a way she'd never thought possible. It's perfect, she whispered. You're perfect, Elena replied, wrapping her arms around Maya from behind. They stood like that for a while, looking at the photograph that captured not just Maya's image, but the love that had been growing between them long before either had the courage to name it. I have an idea, Maya said suddenly. What kind of idea? Let's go to the cafe, our cafe. I want to sit in our booth and hold your hand and not care who sees. Elena's smile was radiant. I thought you'd never ask. As they got dressed and prepared for their day, Maya reflected on the journey that had brought them here. They had been so afraid of losing their friendship that they'd almost missed out on something even more beautiful. That love, Maya had learned, wasn't about playing it safe. It was about taking the leap and trusting that the person you love will catch you, walking hand in hand toward Cafe Luna. Maya squeezed Elena's fingers and felt Elena squeeze back. They had taken that leap together, and they had caught each other. Perfectly the future stretched out before them, full of possibilities they were brave enough to explore together. Love doesn't always announce itself with grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Sometimes it grows quietly in the spaces between friendship and something deeper, in morning coffee rituals and shared glances that linger just a moment too long. Maya and Elena's story reminds us that the most beautiful relationships often begin with the courage to be vulnerable with someone who already knows and loves us. Ready to explore more stories of love, connection, and the courage to follow your heart? Subscribe to our newsletter for weekly tales that celebrate authentic relationships and the beautiful complexity of human connection. Because every love story deserves to be told.